everywhere else. I'm just jumping on a live. Mic check, mic check. Y'all can still hear me, right? All right, cool. As long as y'all can still hear me. I'm gonna go ahead and start jumping on live everywhere else. Just gotta make sure that all of my things is good. All right, cool. I just gotta make sure everything else is good, y'all, and then we're gonna go ahead and start talking. Hold on, y'all. I'm having a little bit of difficulty on the browser. All right, there we go. All right, y'all. So like I said, if you disagree with what I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I'll definitely love to talk to you. If you disagree with what I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I would love to talk to you. I'd love to have that conversation. We can definitely talk. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me good, right? Hey, what's going on, Con Clips? How's it going? Y'all can hear me well, right? I just want to make sure because my audio sounds like it's going a little bit in and out. Let me know if it's okay over on you guys and over y'all end. All right. Let me know if it's a little low or anything like that over on y'all's end. And if it gets a little low, I'll see what I can do about that. But yeah, y'all go ahead and start coming in. Like I said, y'all, the call-in lines are now open. The call-in lines are now open. So if you would like to talk to me, you can go ahead and start the calls, or you can request up. If you're over on YouTube or any other platform, you would have to call in. If you are here on TikTok, you can definitely just hit that request button. All right, y'all. So the number is 786-751-785-tree. All right. Go ahead and start sharing this. Go ahead and start putting it everywhere. Go ahead and hit them likes. Hit them likes, y'all. Hit them likes. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it. All right. So if you have any questions or if you disagree with me, I'm just gonna go ahead and invite you up. If you have any questions or if you disagree with me on something, I'm just gonna go ahead and invite you up because I don't like talking to comments. I simply don't like talking to comments. I think talking to comments are basically a waste of time. You might as well just come up because by the time you say something and by the time I explain my entire position, you're going to say something else anyway. So might as well just come up and have the discussion, have the talk. Let's go ahead and hit them likes, y'all. Get them likes going, get them likes going. Once again, I appreciate you all being here. Once again, y'all, appreciate you all being here. Go ahead and hit them likes. 751-7853. What's going on, Xenon? How's it going? How's it going? I'm just waiting for any calls. I'm just waiting for anybody who would like to come up. I'm just waiting for any opposition. And we got our first guest.
Hello.
All right. Argu, is that your name?
Argument.
Okay, Argu, how's it going? Are you at least 18?
You can call me.
Okay, are you at least 18?
You can call me.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm 19.
Cool. And did you disagree with anything I have on the board?
Abolish ICE, I'll say.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think we should abolish ICE because they're useless. Many have broken the Constitution, and there's no reason for them to exist. Why do you disagree?
I don't think we need to abolish ICE. I just think it needs like a big reform, really. Because it's useful to getting rid of the bad immigrants who like have done like heinous crimes and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem, right? I think everybody agrees that anyone who's done anything heinous could either goes to jail or gets deported. But we don't need ICE to do that, do we? We can still deport people because we've been doing that before ICE existed.
Then how do we? Okay, then how will we do it without ICE?
The same way we did it. The same way we did it before ICE existed.
What did they do back then? Then is my question. Was it like this? I forgot what it's called.
Let me ask you a question. Were you born like within the 90s or before the 90s? When were you born?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Okay, that's why.
I was born
I,
2006.
I got you. So all your life you've had ice. That's why ice was created like 3 4 years before you were born. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the '90s, and in the '90s, what happened is that if someone wasn't illegal, like a undocumented immigrant, but what happened is that usually if they committed some sort of major crime, the police would go after them, arrest them just like everybody else, and they will serve their time in jail and then go back. You see what I mean? If they have an order to deport, Border Patrol will go to the judge, get the warrant, order them to deport, and boom, the cops will go after them and get them out. That'll basically be it. There was a whole process. Now with what's going on right now is just basically a free for all. You know, there's papers please happening, and we don't need that. And not only that, they're straight up murdering citizens. So we don't need that, do we?
Yeah, I agree. And but ICE has been around since like 2002, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. So why wasn't no one like protesting ICE in like during the Obama era? I mean, like not protesting, but more like rioting ICE, like fighting against ICE back
Um,
then.
Number one, there was a lot of uproar around what ICE was doing. But number two, the way ICE operated back then what was a lot different than the way it's operating now. Like of course there were people who were already protesting the inhumane treatment and those facilities, right? But right now they just kicked up the inhumanity and the racism a lot more. Like the Supreme Court literally gave them the right to stop anyone based on their color and their accent. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, when it jumps from arrest people and put them into facilities, even and those are inhumane facilities, you're going to protest and complain about that. When it goes from that to we're going to do racial profiling and papers please, of course once one thing escalates, the other thing is also going to escalate, right?
Yeah,
Right, so
I understand, and I'm getting distracted. People are talking downstairs from me,
no problem.
but um, I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry, I totally forgot.
No, not a problem. So was that the
Uh,
only thing you disagree with?
yeah, yeah, that's the only thing I disagree with, and probably the leftist policies are better for society. I wouldn't. I don't know. Like, what policies you think are
uh
better
uh
from the
you
left?
Universal health care, investment into public transportation, guaranteed parental leave, uh, a minimum wage that's tied to your area cost of living and tied to inflation and production, massive regulation on environment and banking industry, nationalization of some key industries, investment into nuclear power and renewable energy, things like that. Those are bad.
Honestly, yeah, that's all sound good. I hadn't that do sound good. But what do you disagree with the right then? Like what?
Everything. It's shown that their policies don't actually work. Like cutting taxes for the billionaires doesn't work. Simply cutting taxes in the short term and doing nothing about it in the long term doesn't work. Their foreign policies have all shown to be complete shit. And the Democrats follow the same foreign policies as the Republicans, by the way. They're not any different. But like their policies have caused like the entire immigration issue that we have today. So it's like it just doesn't work.
Um, yeah, I agreed. But I would say like the biggest issue I have with the left is just the abortion. Really, I don't really like abortion and stuff. I think that abortion like should be like banned for
Why?
most abortions.
Why?
I don't think it's right taking the life of the innocent fetus.
Okay, yeah, I mean, everybody agrees that you shouldn't take the life of an infant person, but most abortions happen when it's still a zygote, right? Not when it's a viable fetus. And when it's
Yeah,
viable,
but
those
it's gonna
abortions can be
grow and is still developing,
right.
and so it's gonna develop.
Right. But we usually don't care about development, right? We place more priority in what it is than it'll develop to.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just against but I'm more against the reasons though of getting an abortion. Like most women that get like abortion like don't have anything bad for them like going on with the abortion.
So
Like it's only like 5% that it's medically needed.
so
Like the not the rest of it, like the 95% is like them just getting an abortion because like they really don't have like enough money to take care of it. They're not ready to have a child yet, or
right.
like stuff
That's
like that.
yeah. That's
That's minor issue, but they can
yeah.
go to like
That's
pregnancy care
argue.
and
That's
stuff.
that's
Like
that's responsible though. If they can't afford to bring a new life into the world, they shouldn't. Right. That's responsible.
I know, but there's like people and places like organizations that can help with that.
No, they aren't.
Churches can help. There's a lot of churches
No, they
that can
don't.
help.
They're
Like fire organization
They don't. They don't.
helps.
Hold on, but they don't though, because did you see that recent social experiment of the woman going to churches and asking them for baby formula for her sick baby, and all of them refused? They don't really help.
Could you send me that article? Would like to like dig into it.
It was a thing here on TikTok. It was a thing right here on TikTok. Like she was going ahead and calling churches, like actually live streaming it or recording herself calling these churches, asking for help for her baby and on them help. Like there were a few that
Okay.
did help. There were a few that did help, but a lot of the ones that she called in, whether they were local or they were mega churches, I'm talking about mega churches that make millions of dollars a year, they didn't help.
But wouldn't it depend on like the branch of like Christianity they are in?
It doesn't matter what
Really?
branch it is. The point of the matter is that these churches did not help her. So when people
Yeah,
say
I
just go to
think
the
that.
churches, like she showed in real time that churches do not help.
What about the pregnancy care or whatever?
They don't help
Like
either. They've
the.
they've already been on like investigated for that. Like these pregnancy centers don't help.
They don't help.
No, they don't help.
What do they do then? Like, don't they like try to support the woman? Like, give them advice and stuff.
Hell no.
Like, on what
What
do
they
they do
do,
then?
what they do is they give them propaganda about what abortion does, and that's basically it. They don't help you at all. All right. So for anyone who's calling in, I'm gonna get to you next. Let me just finish up with argument, and then I'm gonna get to the caller. Okay. Appreciate you, caller, for being on hold. I'll get to you.
Yeah, but that's all I wanted to ask.
Okay. Not
So
a problem.
I tried to do more research on the abortion thing, but
Cool.
I sort of agree.
All right, y'all. I appreciate you all being here. Once again, if you disagree with what I have on the board, go ahead and please call in. We did have a person that called in and dropped. If you would like to call in again, whoever dropped, go ahead and call in again. I appreciate you. We're gonna move on to 331. 331. How's it going? Are you at least 18? And did you disagree with what I had on the board?
I'm at least 18, and yeah, I got a couple.
Okay,
I can
cool.
debate with you a little bit. I got some time.
All right, cool. What did you disagree with and why?
So we could start on uh, the abolishing ICE topic. Uh, we have to have consequences for our actions, and I wanted to touch on that with the kid who was just talking about the abortions and stuff. If we were to hold ourselves responsible for the things that we do, then we won't have to put ourselves in those positions. How about, abstaining, for example? I know it's easier said than done, and we live in a time where everybody wants to just do what the fuck they want to do, and no one wants to be wrong, right? Everyone wants to be right, or everyone wants to feel validated in their choices. So we got to have options. I knew when I was a young man that I was totally wrong and off my rocker when I was out here uh, smashing everything. I've actually been to the abortion clinic myself once or twice with my partners, and you know, it's I knew I was doing wrong, but instead of trying to be as worldly as I was, I should have just stuck with my upbringing and not have done all that. I would
All
have
right,
saved
cool.
myself some trouble.
So, all
Now,
right,
when it
cool.
comes to height,
So when it comes to abstaining, yeah, that's just not realistic. People are gonna have sex, bro. Like, there's nothing wrong with sex. So like, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, we should all be careful. I agree with you there, right? We shouldn't all be just busting it wide open willy nilly because diseases and of course pregnancy. Like that's all good and well, but simply saying, oh, just abstain, like that's ridiculous. People are gonna have sex. So if that's going
I
to
know,
happen,
yeah,
if that's going to happen, which we should encourage safe sex practices and education. But even then, not everything is 100% guaranteed. Yeah, I mean, so like that's why these options exist. Things like birth control, things like abortion.
yeah. Yeah, of course. And I agree more so with that than the complete abstination. I only brought up the abstination because of that was my upbringing, right? Now I understand that the kids nowadays that they're too far gone from that.
Actually, Gen Z is
And
having less sex than we are.
hey, I would be surprised.
Yeah, that's what the research says. They're having like
Yeah,
sexual partners. The reason why that is because there's a big loneliness problem, not just with the men, but with the women too. Which is that the young men are killing themselves more because of it, and the women are having more resources to deal with their loneliness. But like, yeah, there's a big
yeah,
loneliness problem with
yeah,
Gen Z.
man. That sucks because I feel like we live in a better time. It's a better time to be outside. We have more things than ever, more entertainment options than ever, especially depending on where you live at. You have
Mhm.
so many options, and then you got online where you can connect to people at the touch of your thumb. It just seems like so many people are so weirded out by speaking to somebody in public or talking on the phone. Like you got to text somebody, or if you meet a girl, you got to meet her on Tinder or Bumble or something first. But if you can meet the same girl that you would end up going on a date with at the grocery store, and she don't look at you crazy for saying something to her.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like I understand like the dating scene nowadays does have problems. I agree with that. But
Yeah,
as far as abortion goes, right? What I always tell people is that these are not gonna stop. So what we need to do instead of just making it all illegal, why don't we just put in policies or education that'll make it happen less? Because we see that abortions happen more with people who are not as educated and with people who are poor. So if we alleviate poverty and we increase our like basically our quality of education, we'll see abortions go down, right? It's including access to contraceptives. We'll see abortions go down. Why don't we just do that instead of banning the entire thing?
I agree with that, but I was brought up in that way as well. Like our schools, we had condoms. You could just walk into the health office and just grab a handful of condoms out of a fishbowl type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had health class. We was talking about education and stuff like that. And I think it still will fall on deaf ears just because it's not the popular thing to do.
Yeah, there are people who are not going to still do it, right? But we'll see that the amount of incidents of it will always go down. Like I don't think anybody disagrees that actions have consequences and there should be consequences towards your actions. I don't think that's what abortion is, of avoiding the consequences, because abortion is not something that easy to do. Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy decision to make. Like most people who getting them are not flippant with it. Of course, you can get examples of like viral videos on Instagram and TikTok of them just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm Felitas deletas today." Yeah, I mean, you'll find those. Yeah, I mean, but for most people, it's not something that's an easy or flippant decision. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I've been outside for a long time, and there are some seeming demons out there, and they go to the abortion clinic like it's nothing.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, so we know they out there. So, and I know we can't use every outlier as the defense for changing the whole system, but we know that we got to give and take. There are some people that are really wild, and we just see how it goes. Maybe we shouldn't just totally get rid of it, but something has to be done about it. The girls that are just going and getting 8 abortions, that has to be unacceptable. We can't be like, just look at that and be like, all right, well, it's legal, so you got 8 abortions. You have to be like, man, something's wrong with you, and we need to get you some help.
I mean, yeah, if they're getting like 8, 9 abortions, then yeah, we should go ahead and get them some help, right? Like I think there when I say some help, we should to look into what exactly is going on, because it sounds like there could be more there then it might be something that's mental. They're not mental meaning they're crazy, but mental meaning like their health is not as well as it should be. So that's why I say that, these policies that I want to put in are better, because if that's the case, she can go ahead and get like therapy or psychiatric help. And if it's universal healthcare, if it's universal, they'll be able to afford to do that, or it'll be at no cost.
So how would something like that? How do you think something like that would be able to get implemented when I'm seeing things like in California, for example, nothing against LGBTQ kids and stuff like that. I know everybody needs help and everything, but if I can't send my kid to school and they can tell me, oh, well, we don't have to tell you if we call in your son Brianna. We don't have to tell you that. That's none of your business, because we're trying to keep them safe or something. How do we educate daughters and sons when it seems like we have to take such a handoff approach?
Well, I'm not even sure what you mean. If the thing is, when with those policies in California, those are only for parents who are affecting their child's mental health, right? At that point, it's better for you to not be involved if you're going to be affecting their mental health. Like, I think that's just that's just makes sense. If we know that the parents
are not, if you live in my household, I could affect your mental health.
Right, that's a problem.
If you live in my house,
that's a problem. That means that you're not a good parent. If we say
disagree on parenting.
Well, I'm saying that
on parenting.
Right. I'm saying if we like, are you really going to sit here and say that just because you're a person is a parent of that child, they can negatively affect their mental health just because they live with them? That's horrible parenting.
I'm saying your intention might not be to negatively affect them, but they can say, hey, my dad put me on punishment because I had on nail polish, and that negatively affected my mental health. Now, should the school be able to have a say in me putting my child on punishment and he's crying about it? Like all kids will cry if you put them on punishment?
No, you're going to put your child on punishment for
mental health negatively.
You're going to put the child on punishment for whatever you want.
Anything.
Right. But no. I'm not talking about anything. But dude, you can put your child on punishment. That's all good and well. That's fine, right? But if it's something of a situation where it's part of their identity, part of who they are exploring as a person, and you're punishing them for that, that could affect their mental health. And at that point, the school is probably not going to tell you how they're letting your child express themselves. They're not going to tell you that, because then you're going to make it worse.
Why does it have to? Right, but why does it have to cross that line? What if my son identifies as a gangbanger and I don't want him to? What if my gangbanger wants to identify as a fucking crackhead and I don't want her to?
Those are not gender identities.
They're identities nonetheless.
They're an identity, but they're not a gender identity. It's not something that you're inherently born with. Gender identity is something that you're inherently having within yourself. You can't just not want your kid to do that. It's part of them. That's just how it works. Like, they didn't wake up one day and
process in place. Then there would have to be a legit process in place to where that happens. For example, say my son came out the room with nail polish on, and they're like, okay, there's nothing you can do about it because it's his hormones and it's a gender medical thing. You would have to go take me to the doctor, sit down and explain this shit to me scientifically before you're able to try to tell me I don't need to know what's going on with my kid at school.
Yeah, that does happen, which is why like these policies in California, all that happens before they say they're not going to tell you nothing. Because now when they do that and they see that that you're heavily against it and you're going to be affecting them to the point where their emotional and mental state declines, they're not going to tell you, because why would they? You're going to be negatively affecting this kid.
Okay, but at this point, I know.
Right at that point, yeah, at that point you know, which is yeah. So they know that you're
going to school, being called Brianna and shit. I already know this. So what is that going to stop?
It's not. Because now they know that you're an unsupportive parent. Why would they let an unsupportive parent into something like that? That would put the kid in more danger. Why would they do that?
Well, the kid will have to move or something then. In that case, the way you're explaining it, because
which does happen.
By the time it would get to that protocol where you're saying where it could be a secret now, then the cat is out the bag at that point. So I'm not up to speed on how the protocol works. I'm just taking your word for it. It just sounds like it would be counterintuitive.
No, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that if these schools see that there's a parent who's going to negatively affect their child's mental and emotional health, yeah, they may not clue them in. They're just going to talk to the counselors, the child's doctors, their therapists, and everything like that in order to get the child help. But they're not going to clue you in on that. And as soon as that child turns 18, they're just going to leave your house and never talk to you again. That's what's
Then
going to
what
happen.
would be a process to think that a parent is being unsupportive? What process is there in place for that?
Okay, so not number one, they talk to the parent, and then they bring that parent with the school counselor. They hook them up with a therapist. They tell you all exactly what's going on with your child, how they think the treatment for your child should go, how you should help them. And if you're just simply against all of it, if you said, no, my child is not transgender, I'm not going to socially transition them, I'm not going to do this, that, and the third, they're going to stay this because it's my child, and I'm never going to do anything to help them out with this issue that they're going through, they're just not going to include you because you're not supportive.
Then I would have to, if they having some sort of process in place, they should make it even more scientific. For example,
it is scientific, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Great book.
Being transgender has been known within social and medical science for like over 100 years. We knew about it back in like 1914.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is you would have to explain that to a parent.
They do, bro. A lot of people just don't accept it.
No, because explaining it versus actually having the proof is two different things.
They do have evidence, bro. There's mountains of studies on this. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Wait. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me just ask you a question.
That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Are you a neuroscientist?
I hear you. Am I? No, I'm not a literal scientist.
I got you. Right. Science classes. I got you. Hold on. Listen. You're not a neuroscientist. I'm not a neuroscientist. So people who are neuroscientists and people who are psychiatrists, they're all saying that yes. Correct. Being transgender is a real thing. It is an internal process. It's not something that you're just choosing to do. This is real, right? So if the people who are within the medical and scientific field are telling you that this is real, and you're still saying, oh, they have no proof of it, what does that show to the parent? That shows to the kid.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to have proof of my kid. You have to put my kid, hook him up to the neural machine.
Right, they do that, bro. That's what I'm saying. They do that.
You would have to put my kid on the neural machine. Okay,
right? They do that. I'm saying.
I haven't seen anybody do it. I'm not in that world, so I may be very ignorant of the process. But
I'll say this. I'll say this.
Very involved parental process.
I'll say this. There is no really machines for this to do it. They take you to therapy and they talk to psychiatrists and they talk to psychologists. That's who they go to. It's a very in-depth process. It's not just one day Brian is Brianna now and the school counselor said, okay, here you go. That's not what happens. It's a very in-depth process. They go through all of it. You feel me? Like what's being put out there in the media and everything like that. They're kind of lying to you. They said that, the kid just goes into the school counselor, says he's a she now, and the counselor just believes him. No, it's more than that. It's way more than that.
Okay, then it should be way more than that. Whatever it is, it needs to be a lot for me to feel comfortable with what they're trying to propose and enact.
Right. No, I definitely get that. And I think most people agree, like it is an in-depth process. They're not just flippant with it. You know what I mean? It's very, very in-depth.
Okay, now what's your problem with ICE then?
They hire rapists and they've killed citizens and they're breaking the constitutional laws and they're hiring jackasses off the street, many of who are racist Nazis. So why do we need them?
Okay. To enforce the deportation, to facilitate the deportation of illegal immigrants. That's what we need them.
All right, we already had that. So
I know, so keep it going.
No, we had that before.
Like, what you trying to say? There's another ICE or something? There was like ICE before ICE?
No, yeah, before ICE was created. ICE was created around 2002. You sound around my age, so you were alive before ICE, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So people got deported back then.
Okay, so what's the? So what's the problem? They're getting deported now by ICE.
Right.
What's
So
the difference?
the problem now is that they're abusing children. There's been multiple cases of sexual assault happening in ICE facilities, multiple cases of abuse of American citizens, and multiple cases of breaking of constitutional laws. That's the
Okay.
problem.
And I believe that illegal immigrants don't have constitutional rights.
You're
I
wrong.
think it's a slap in the face to. I know legally I may be wrong, but it flies and it's like a slap in the face to. I feel like my ancestors that fought for our rights. I think it's a slap in the face for women in this country who fought for their rights to
No, it's
just
not.
have
How?
someone just walk across the border. I'm telling you, to have someone walk across the border illegally, don't go through the process, doesn't just say fuck it. I'm about to just bring my ass up here. I'm going up to Minnesota, for example, or I'm going to LA, or I'm going to Nashville, just for example, right? And they feel as if they're entitled to everything that we have worked so hard for,
That's
and
not what
laws that we
illegals
have
do, bro.
laws that we have put in place. Well, they're breaking the law by coming into here illegally.
It's a civil infraction. It's not even a criminal offense. It's like jaywalking, bro. Like I'm not even kidding about that. Crossing over the border is like jaywalking. If you do it again, now it's a criminal offense. But like doing it the first time is basically like jaywalking. Overstaying your visa is basically like jaywalking. We don't beat people ass for jaywalking. That's ridiculous. But the second thing that I would say is that they're not doing that. They're not coming over here and saying that they deserve anything more than you do. Like most undocumented people, I just want to live, work, and live a better life than they would have in their country because of a lot of it is because of American foreign policy. But and you know that's another thing to talk about. But like when it comes to undocumented immigrants, I don't see how it's a slap in the face for them to live and work the same way you do. Like I don't. Well, how's that slap in the face? Like they get constitutional rights anyway.
Because of their, I think it's the. I wouldn't go into your house, turn on your TV, kick my feet up on your ottoman and just sit there, scratch my balls, start smacking and shit. I wouldn't do that. That's rude because it's your house, your rules, right? And I feel like that's a level of entitlement that I don't think they should have.
Do they
you came
work?
here illegally.
Do
you
they
should
work?
be trying to assimilate. You should be trying to. Yeah, some of them work. Yeah.
Yeah. No, all of them. Not all of them, but like most of them work.
No, not all of them work. Come on, we ain't gonna do the all.
No,
thing.
not all of them
But
work.
some of them
not
work.
all,
Yes.
I got you. Not all of them work, but most of them do. From the research that we can find, most undocumented work, and most of them don't commit any crimes. So they're not just walking into your house, kicking their feet up, and you know putting their hand on their balls. That's not what they're doing.
To me, it is when you're getting Medicare, Medicaid, things that were
they don't get Medicare and Medicaid, bro.
Legal citizens. Well, in Chicago they do.
In Chicago, they do. In Chicago, they get Medicaid and Medicare. How do they do that without a social security number?
I'm not sure how they do it or what the process is.
They don't,
I've seen
bro.
people with driver's license that said they don't have no name given.
Right. That could happen.
I'm seeing this.
Right, that could happen because that's controlled like more on the city level. But that doesn't mean they get Medicare and Medicaid. You can't get Medicare without a social security. That's not possible.
Then they're working. They're doing some type of work. I don't know.
They're not getting it, bro. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. What I'm saying is that whoever told you that is lying to you. They're not getting it.
All right. Well, I'm not going to hinge my argument on that. The point being is the entitlement to what we have. Oh, we shouldn't be able to deport them or do whatever because they're like as if they're citizens now. That's not the case. And I'm not believing that someone that crossed the border illegally is an American citizen just because they're here and they deserve every protection of the Constitution. I do not believe that in my heart. I do not believe that.
I understand you don't believe that.
I would not do that to nobody else's country.
But at the end of the day, if you're in someone else's country, you're under their laws, right?
Right. And we have a law that says you can get your ass deported.
So listen. What is the supreme law of the land?
Hold on, what you say?
All right. So when you're in someone else's country, you're under their laws, which you agreed with. What is the supreme law of the land in America?
Correct. No, the Constitution. Come on, I got
exactly. You. So they do get constitutional rights, just like every other citizen. You may believe they shouldn't, but at the end of the day, matter of fact, you do believe they should, because you just said that when you're in a specific country, you're in someone's laws, and there's supreme law, the land's constitution. So you do believe they get constitutional rights.
And I also believe that they have the right to be deported as well. If they're going to have constitutional rights, they have the right to be deported as well.
No one disagrees with that. No one disagrees with
under the laws of the land.
No one disagrees with that. Well, what we're disagreeing with is the process that and under which it happens. That's what we're disagreeing with. We're disagreeing.
And I'm okay with the process, because you know why I'm okay with the process? Because we actually put in a sweet ass process for them. We telling them we're gonna give you $2,500. We're gonna put you on the flight.
That's not what most people are doing
back
now.
Home.
You're
going to be able to come back. I know. Hold on, but you'll be able to come back if you do this. So we're giving you a very sweet option, and you're not taking it. Then you're gonna have to take these hands. You're gonna get knuckled up a little bit, because
that's called
that's how you deter bad behavior.
No, it's not.
If I say no, son. No, son, I do not want you to do this. No. If you go to school and you act a fool, I do not want you to do that.
Hold on. Listen,
and there's going to be
consequences. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
So you got to have consequences.
Listen to what I'm saying. Brutalizing people never has good consequences, bro. Never. When you brutalize people, all it's going to cause is for everybody else to defend those people, which is what we're seeing now.
True. That's it. That is what we're seeing. But we should, instead of defending the process, why not encourage them to take the CBP app? Why not be saying, guys, ICE is coming around here. They're terrorizing everybody. You might get killed. Your kids might get molested and holding. Something might happen. Why even take the chance? Why roll the dice? Take the $2,500, take the flight, and come back later.
Yeah,
why not do that encouragement? Why we got to go out and militarize and fight ICE?
We don't.
Why do that?
So, but the thing is, the problem is that ICE. What I'm saying is that we do encourage the right process, but the problem with the right process is that the process that we have is already awful. The process that we have to come illegally into America is shitty, and I know that because my parents are not from here. So I've helped people come over here to America, and we have one of the worst processes to come here all the time. What we should need to do is actually fix the process, not just militarize the deportation and brutalize people. Why do that? Why not fix the process?
It takes time to do all that. You're right, but you're trying to say we're going to juggle 8 balls at one time.
No, that's not what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
We can barely keep the government open.
That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, we can barely keep the government open because we have idiots as representatives. Right. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to the immigration process, what we can do is eliminate red tape and have a faster process, and actually have more judges to process people. That's what we can do. We have more judges to process people. We can have less red tape in the situation. There are a lot more things we can do than just militarizing a police force, because once you militarize some sort of law enforcement force, what's going to happen?
Look, first off, we do that in America every day. I got so many issues.
Exactly.
Our police are militarized in America. We do this to our own citizens.
Exactly.
So who told these immigrants it was sweet up here in the first place? We got more officers, we got more jails, we got more prisons.
You're really proving my point, bro.
Than any other country.
You're kind of proving my point.
Whoever thought that it was, I know that's what I'm trying to tell you. Whoever thought it was sweet to come up here in America and do some illegal shit, that's on them for thinking that shit.
But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that, number one, being undocumented is simply a civil infraction. Most of the people getting deported have never committed anything violent, bro. So and the second thing that I would say is that, yeah, we do have shitty police. So abolish it, right? Just prove my point.
Yeah, I do believe we should not abolish ICE because they have a job to do, and the way that they're doing their jobs is it's okay with me because we've been doing it here to American citizens for years.
All right. I'm not okay with any of it.
To American culture.
So what I'm saying is that I'm not okay with any of it. And if that's American culture, American culture is fucked up, and we need to change it. That's what I'm saying.
Overnight.
It's not going to happen,
and they're already here while the culture's fucked up.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. But that doesn't mean that we just said, screw it. You know what I mean? Our police are shitty and racist. We're just going to have to deal with it because reasons. That's kind of ridiculous.
Well, right. And I would say I'm not going to abolish ICE because the shitty situation either.
Yeah, we should
Just feel
abolish it because of that
it's gonna have to play out
situation.
over time. This is gonna take out over time.
And then more people will get killed. That's ridiculous. Why would we do that when we could just go ahead and have another system?
Go the fuck home. If you know the solution, if you know that your shit, if your life might end up getting affected in that way, why not just take the easy way out? The CBP app that they're trying to give you. You know you might get killed. I know somebody might get killed. Why put yourself in that position?
All right. So the reason why people immigrate are for several reasons. Usually for economic reasons, because the situation back home is terrible. So the reason why they rather risk it here in America is because they know if they go back home, they might get killed for it. So they rather risk it here in
Why
America.
are y'all giving pushback for the operations we're trying to do in South America? If all these people just came and said, these people walked for a month, weeks, to come here to America for better opportunity, they walked with their children, with a couple pairs of clothes. So it must be fucked up over there, right? So then we're going to say, all right, either we're going to keep bringing in asylum seekers, or we can go and fix their country for them.
All right, but that's not what we're doing.
They don't have to leave their home.
Hold on. That's not. But the problem is, no, we're not.
We're trying to.
Regime change doesn't fix anything. Regime change doesn't fix anything, bro.
When the regime was a coke lord, yeah, it was. He was hanging out with French Montana.
What evidence do we have that he was a coke lord?
I trust the CIA and the FBI.
The CIA and the FBI murdered Martin Luther King, and you trust them?
Yeah.
All right, bro.
I do.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Hey, Trill, how's it going, Trill? You there, Trill? Oh, there you go. Yeah. How's it going, man? How's it going? Yeah, I'm just enjoying the calls tonight. Hey, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to 504. You're not gonna be able to hear Trill, but he's gonna be able to hear you. So if he wants to ask you a question, he is going to go ahead and ask. Just wait for it till I ask him. All right, 504. How's it going, 504? Can I get your name, age, and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Yeah, my name T, and I'm 38. And I disagree with you and the guy was talking about the ICE situation.
All right, you disagree with abolish ICE?
Yes.
All right, why do you disagree?
Okay. Me and the first guy that was talking kind of have the same viewpoint because
okay, so let me get this straight. All right, so let me get this straight. So yeah, I have the same viewpoint. So you're saying that because the police in America are already fucked up and racist and brutalize their own citizens. So that means that undocumented immigrants should also get brutalized and fucked up by American police. That sounds kind of ridiculous.
Well, if you say that, you know.
No, but
it is.
No, I actually want. Hold on. Listen. I actually want you to think about what you're saying here. The police brutalize and murder citizens, so undocumented immigrants should also be brutalized and murdered. That's what you're saying?
I'm not saying it should be brutalized and murdered.
Great,
but they got to get the fuck out of here. They got to go.
Why?
Okay. First thing first. As a black man in America, I don't know why black people is even covering this, to be honest.
I'm just asking you why, bro. Just ask me. Just tell me why. Just tell me why.
The reason why, because we have our own problems in our own fight that never ended. Everything got pushed before our fight. The gay laws got pushed before our fight. The immigrants got pushed before our fight. We have not succeeded as a race yet to get to where we're trying to get at. And we study sticking our nose in other people's business. This is not our fight.
All right. This is not answering my question. This is not answering my question. This is not answering my question. Are you saying that we can't fight for black rights? We can't fight for reparations and also call out the fact that they're murdering people? We can't do both of them at the same time?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
No, we cannot.
So you're saying.
It's
So you're
not.
saying.
It's not.
So
It's
hold on.
never
So
been.
hold on. So you're saying that I can't, advocate for reparations, advocate that African Americans should get reparations, advocate that we put this in law, and also say that, hey, this police force is hiring rapists and they're abusing women in their facilities. There's no way to do that.
No, and I
Do
can
you know how
explain.
crazy you sound, bro?
One.
You know how crazy you sound.
Okay, I don't care.
Are you
I don't.
that sounds ridiculous, guy. I just did it. I literally just did it. I literally just said that African Americans should get reparations for slavery, for redlining, for Jim Crow, for everything that they went to, and they can go through the course, and they can get, and we can do reverse taxation, and we can do all these other things for African Americans, right? And at the same time, hey, did y'all know that ICE is raping women? And if they could go ahead and rape those women, then that means that the police could also rape you too. I literally just did it, and you're saying that I can't. That sounds crazy.
Okay, for one, police would never rape me. That's. Let's get that straight.
There's been
Okay?
already been
I'd rather
research
die behind
that
that.
police
Second thing,
sexually
let
abuse
me
boys
let me
a
finish.
lot.
Let me finish.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Let me finish. Okay, let me finish. Okay, I'm against police brutality. I'm with you on that, right? Okay, cool. What I'm saying is, my talking point is, what we just were saying, is that we can't do everything at once. We got to hone in on one thing and lock in on one thing and get that done first, then go to the next. We need to clean up us before we can clean up anybody else. You
Can you
can't
answer
help
what that
somebody else if you
means?
can't help yourself.
All right, yeah, I don't have
So
any.
why
I don't have any beef
not
with that.
know
Hold on.
in other
So hold
business?
on. I mean, let me answer. I don't have any beef with what you're saying. I don't have any beef with that, bro. I understand that there are going to be people who are going to be focused on one thing. I get that. Right? There's going to be people who are going to be focused on just doing this one thing, and that we need to do that. But that still doesn't mean that just because that's what you're going to do doesn't mean that we can't advocate for this Gestapo organization to not exist anymore. The reason why that is because we all know what happens. They always, in this country, they always test it on a certain population. And if they see they can get away with it with a certain population, they move it to everybody else. And we know in this country, that population was usually black folks. But when it comes to ICE, they're doing that to immigrants. So if we notice that, then that means that we should stop it, right? Because ICE has already brutalized black citizens too. Not just black immigrant citizens. I'm sorry, not citizens. Not just black undocumented immigrants, but black citizens too. They've already brutalized them because ICE is the police, and we know what the police does. Am I right or wrong?
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So that's all
And
I'm
I have
saying,
a
bro.
I have a rebuttal for that, right? When all this is happening, what does black people do? Answer my
What has
question.
happened? Say that again.
When that take place,
Mm-hmm.
right? When the officer do all these crazy things
Mm-hmm.
to black people,
Mm-hmm.
what does black people do in response?
Oh, usually right now it's protest, but I think we need to stop protesting. We need to do more than that. We need to start networking. We need to start having networks of protection. We need to start shoring up our defenses. That's what we start doing. We need to start doing. We need to stop protesting and being out in the streets. We need to actually have a network of security, not just bodily security, but financial security financial security, food security, stuff like that. Because we know when we protest, we could protest a lot. We can take our issues to the government, and all they're gonna do is pay us lip service. So now we gotta go ahead and start doing what the Panthers did back in the day, and shoring up our own security instead of just being out protesting in the streets. Because usually when that happens, we protest. Some things change. I give them some things change, but most things don't.
Now I respect that, and I agree wholeheartedly with that, right? Me and you, our disconnect, I think, is coming from the ICE situation. Now, listen to me clearly. I am against anybody that do harm to children. I'm not with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not with people just getting unalive and beaten and all that shit. Let's clear that up. I just don't. I'm just disagreeing just with illegal immigrants being here, bro. That's just my take on it. I don't see why we should help them when they don't help us? Why should we keep sticking our necks out helping everybody else and they don't help us? They get online and say, fuck blacks, they fuck y'all. They say racist shit to us. Every race say that shit to us.
Mhm.
And we sit here and we come put on our ass cape like Superman and we come save the fucking day again, bro. Every time. It happened in my generation, yours, our grandparents, great-grandparents. This shit ain't in it, man.
Okay, yeah.
I think just focus on us.
No, I get the sentiment, right? I get the sentiment of, you know, the folks coming in from everywhere else and treating black Americans like shit. Like I get that sentiment. So we're not gonna go ahead and worry about whatever issue that they got going on, which is why you see less and less black people going out there to protest. I get that. I don't have any beef with that. Like,
that's how I feel about it.
Right, I got you.
That's why.
The only thing I would say is that, yeah, you know, they're undocumented. I don't care. I don't give a shit. They're undocumented. That's not what I care about. I care about treating people well. I don't care if they're undocumented or not.
Yeah, if you're an immigrant, right? I don't care if you're doing the right things. If you're undocumented, you gotta go. You gotta get the fuck out of here. You gotta go, man.
Yeah, I think that's our disconnect. If they're undocumented, I don't care about that either. So what? That don't hurt me. That don't hurt nobody.
Hey, that's your point of view, bro. That's your point of view, bro. I can't take that away from you. How you feel, you know? I didn't come up here to argue. I just came up here to speak my piece and hear what you got to say, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I do appreciate you, though. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, have a good one. All right, guys. I'm going to be on for probably like another 20, 30 minutes. Hey, guys, Kayla and Trill, how you guys are going? I haven't fixed that issue yet where you guys can talk back and forth with the caller. I still haven't fixed that issue yet.
It's taking forever to fix that.
Yeah, I did want to say a few things, though. With that first call, I did want to say that. But he didn't realize that the CIA created the cartel. So, like, although he's like, oh yeah, I trust the CIA. Wait, but the CIA created situations that you're complaining about.
What you're talking about, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And now this other guy has the same issue. It's like, yo,
I will
complaining about the fallout of our American of the bad policies of our American government. So like you're barking up the wrong tree, you're crying to the wrong people. Like the people who again, and also this is one last thing I want to say before I want to hold it too much time. Like these are actually billionaire invited guests, right? These billionaires are inviting these people over to do work, but not that we don't want to do. I don't like that rhetoric either. They're doing work that they don't want to pay us for. Right, because they rather pay them less for more profit. So if they destabilize their country, and then invite them over, like, hey, you want a job? Because we destroyed your country. Yeah, come over here. Oh, but also we're gonna destroy the immigration process. So now you have to be here. Because if you're not here, then it's gonna be hard to come back in here. Right now you're in a precarious situation. Oh, and if you go back, you have a higher likelihood of being unalived by one of our many regimes are I'm trying to say right for can I say violent?
Yeah, you can say violent.
Violent regimes that we created. You know what I mean? For our own benefit. So again, like we created the situation. I could go on, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. We created the situation. Go ahead, Kay. I'm sorry.
I will say this. I have empathy for what the people are experiencing as far as like ICE is concerned and stuff. But I will say this, as was just mentioned, many of these groups come here and shit on Black Americans. They're very anti-Black to Black Americans. They're very xenophobic to Black Americans. And so I will have to say, I'm not putting my hands up in there. I think the people that come from immigrant backgrounds need to fight that fight for themselves and let Black Americans fight what we have to fight for ourselves.
No, yeah, that's what I said. I don't have a beef with that. But one thing I've always said was that we know what who backs ICE and exactly what they do. You know what I mean? This country always does that. They experiment on one group just to see if they can do it with everybody else. You know what I mean? So right now it's just the immigrants with ICE, but they're gonna see if they can do it with everybody else. And we see that they've already attacked Black American citizens too. You know what I mean? So it's something to look out for. Of course, like shore up our defenses, but you don't have to be out there protesting. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that you don't have to be out there. No, you don't have to be out there, but be aware of it. And say, yeah, that needs to be abolished because we know who they're gonna go on, who they're gonna go after. They're just testing this on.
I'm not saying. No, I will say this: Black Americans, we are very aware of how this system works.
Yeah, exactly.
We have been under it for a very long. We have been. Listen, we didn't immigrate here.
Mm-hmm.
We have been in this country for over 500 years, so we know intimately how this system works because we have been affected by it literally since the inception of the United States. And a lot of people do not understand that, but we are American in the truest sense. Like we have been here for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the systems in and out. And I'm like, in November of 2024, Black Americans were warning people.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, Black American women were warning people of what is going to happen if this man gets into fucking office. People cannot say that Black Americans are to have no empathy and are just ignorant because we were the ones warning you, and no one listened to Black Americans.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Okay, give me 1 second. I just bought the caller up. All right, so 562 and then 501. You're gonna be my last caller. 562. You're gonna be able to talk to me, but my panel, you're not gonna be able to hear them for some reason. I don't know why. But 562. Can I get your name, age, and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Yeah. My name is Frederick. I'm 20 years old, and I agree with everything on the board, but I would just like to talk about immigration.
Okay, you agree with everything on the board. All right, so I'll let you speak.
No, I disagree.
Oh, you disagree with everything on the board. All right, cool. Give me 1 second. I just gotta read a super chat real quick. I appreciate you, OWW. She said, it's all our fight. I'm all for POC and other marginalized groups. Undocumented POC have paid our Social Security with their tax contribution. I'm a white boomer. Okay. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, OWW. Here's the reason why I agree, because I do agree with the moniker that, an injustice somewhere is an injustice everywhere. I do agree with that moniker. However, strategies can always differ. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Black Americans, they have to worry about their material conditions. They have to worry about that, and they know how this goes. They know how this goes already. You know what I mean? Donald Trump is just sending ICE to where the immigrants are. Don't think that he's not going to send them to the majority Black areas, which is we already signaled he's going to do. He already signaled he's going to do that, right? So they know how that works. So just show up yourself.
Now, I will say this: Black Americans have had dealings with ICE for a lot, specifically because, and I'm like, and this is no shade to you, but this is just a fact, because they've been trying to get to Black Americans to get to you,
to get
guys,
the immigrants,
Haitians specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
So because a lot of times Black immigrants, and their families tend to be in predominantly Black American communities.
Exactly.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
So the fact.
Give me 1 second, Cam. I'm sorry, because the caller can't hear you. Let me talk to the caller real quick. All right, 562. What was your name again? I'm sorry. Frederick. All right. So you said that you disagree with everything, but you want to talk specifically about abolishing ICE. Typically, what we've seen in the past few weeks shows that they should be abolished.
Well, no,
These are untrained.
I don't want to talk about ICE because I do kind of think they're going too far. I agree with their goal. I do think they're going too far, but I wanted to talk about the other parts of immigration. Because I heard you earlier with the other caller, and you're complaining about the process of immigration, how it takes long, and what I would say is, coming to America is a privilege, and you don't have a right to come here, if it takes long, then so be it, like my grandparents waited in line for about 8 years, and I don't like other people cutting in line and, cheating, you know.
All
So
right.
I would say, you know, that's just our immigration, and every country is
I got you. I understand. All
concerned
right.
about their
So
immigration.
Jim, I got you. All right. So when it comes to the immigration process, it's good that your parents or your grandparents only waited for 8 years. There's people who have been on that list for 25 years. Do you think maybe we should do something about that?
I mean, if that's our law, then so be it.
But don't you think that because the process is not only confusing and not only long and not only has processes where everything just stops and nothing continues, that maybe we should change some of this so people can go ahead and get in, and that will lessen the immigration or the illegal immigration? Don't you think like having an easier process will make illegal immigration?
I don't.
Hold on, wait.
No,
You're saying, hold on, wait. Let me just understand this. Hold on, let me just understand. Hold on, wait. Hold on. Let me just understand what you're saying. You're saying that if we don't make the immigration process easier, it will not make, illegal immigration like less. It wouldn't decrease immigration if we make the process to legally immigrate easier.
No, yeah, for sure. If
right, so if
I'm answering. Yeah,
hold on, wait, because I think we're talking over each other.
Yeah.
So if we actually fix our immigration process, right? If we make it easier to get here, that would decrease illegal immigration. We both agree with that, right?
Probably
Actually,
would.
something just came to mind. Ask him what race his parents are and when they got here.
Yeah,
probably would, right?
So caller, when did your where'd your parents come from and when did they get here?
They came from Mexico.
Okay, Mexico. And they came here when?
What race?
In the 1960s.
1960s. Yeah, that's probably the reason why. Because in 1960s the laws changed, and we know why the laws changed, because Black Americans fought for that. So they came in the 1960s. It was a lot easier then. But then when they saw that, there are more people of color coming into the country, I'm assuming actually, are your parents mestizo or white Mexican?
We're like, we're mestizo.
Mestizo, yeah, okay. So when the country started seeing more browner people coming in, that's when they started restricting things, and now there are people who have been on the list since 1994 who still aren't in.
I'm okay with that.
Right, but
I'm okay with that.
But the issue is that you're saying that you're okay with that, but if we were to change that, it would also decrease exactly what your issue is with illegal immigration, people skipping the line. So if we want people to not skip the line, maybe we should make the line easier and shorter, right?
Or we could just enforce immigration law. We just tell these illegals to stop, coming here illegally.
Right. That's not gonna stop.
Tolerate it.
That's not that right. But like, it's not a big deal. Who cares?
I think it is a big deal. Every country is concerned over their security. Even the South American countries are.
Undocumented immigrants do not commit as much crimes as people who are native citizens.
They're committing a crime by entering the country illegally.
It's an infraction. It's not a crime.
No, isn't it a misdemeanor?
If you recross, it's a misdemeanor.
Like no. Even that's not true. If the first time if you cross the country illegally, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
You're gonna say that's a small offense.
Yeah. It is a small offense. I don't care about that.
Offense, but I don't care. So, it's still a crime. It's still a crime, and I don't want to tolerate that.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Is jaywalking a crime?
Depends which state.
No. Okay. I live in Florida. Is jaywalking a crime?
Like in California, it's allowed now. It became legal 2 years ago.
You're really not answering my question. Is jaywalking a crime?
What do you mean? It depends on which state.
I live in Florida. It's a crime here.
Oh, okay. You live in Florida. Okay.
Right. So jaywalking is a crime here. Should my mom be thrown in jail and raped because I jaywalked?
Raped? Whoa. I'm not for rape. I'm for enforcing law.
Yeah, and the people who are so-called enforcing the law are raping women.
Are you generalizing like all police officers raping?
No, I'm saying that ICE agents have been reporting sexually abusing women and children.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that's the whole goal of ICE. That's not.
I understand that's not the whole goal of ICE. I understand that's not the whole goal of ICE, but that's why it should be abolished.
like there's a lot of bad apples and everything, and I'm against that. We should investigate that, and we should fire those officers immediately.
Right.
100%.
We should fire those officers immediately, and also,
law.
I'm not saying we should not enforce the law. That's not what I'm saying. No one said that. No one said we should not enforce the law. No one said that.
Okay. So
what I did say is that, yeah, someone crosses the country illegally. It's a misdemeanor, but it's not a big fucking deal. So we don't need to treat them like they were the worst person in the world for crossing an imaginary line. What we should do is
imaginary line. What do you mean imaginary line?
The border is an imaginary line, my guy. The border is an imaginary line.
It's not an imaginary line. What are you talking about? It's our country. It's our nation. What are you talking about?
It's an imaginary line.
It's not an imaginary line.
Okay, show me where the border. Okay. You've been to the border. Have you been to the border of the United States and Mexico? Have you been to that border? You're unmuted now. Have you been to the border? You're unmuted now. Have you been to the border of the United States and Mexico?
Oh, okay. Have I been to the border? No.
Okay. I've been to the border between the United States and Mexico. You know what the border is? Okay. It's literally a plaque.
Good for you.
It's literally a plaque that says United States, Mexico. There's nothing there. It's an imaginary line, bro. That's what I mean by
where you are. Like in Texas, there's a border there. Well, a little bit. It's not completely.
You just said you haven't been to the border.
What?
You just said you haven't been to the border.
Yeah, but I've seen videos, dude.
Christ almighty. All right. So in some parts of the border, yeah, there's a wall. Like we know that, right? In some parts where there's a wall and it goes out into the ocean. We know that that there's there. But there's plenty of places between the United States-Canada border and the United States-Mexico border where there's nothing there. So it's an imaginary line.
Oh yeah, and the Canadian and the American border, yeah, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. So it's an imaginary line.
Well, no, there are still border patrol agents there, right? Or
we understand there are still border patrol agents, but this is getting away from my point. What my point is, like, everybody is worried about concerned about security and safety, but we know that it's not going to come from undocumented immigrants. The biggest problem in America is white supremacy. White supremacist gangs and organizations. Hold on. It is true. Do you
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
It is true.
I disagree. We're not going to agree on that.
Are you going to take the word of the FBI? Do you take their word for it?
What? Well, no, I don't trust the FBI.
All right,
they killed Martin Luther King, right?
All right, what about the CIA?
They killed Martin Luther King, right? And JFK, right?
Yeah, they killed Martin. No, not JFK. They didn't kill JFK. Someone else killed JFK.
Yeah, they did. They killed JFK.
No, they didn't. There's no proof of that.
Well, that's a conspiracy.
But they did. But yeah, they did kill the FBI. I mean, I'm sorry. They did kill MLK and they did kill Martin Luther King. They did kill them. That's correct.
Wait, you just said twice. Wait,
yeah, no, I did.
Yeah, I agree. They most likely, they killed, not guaranteed, but most likely they did.
Yes, I understand. Yeah,
they called him a communist.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, they killed Malcolm X and they killed MLK. They did kill them. Correct. So, but when it comes to so you're not gonna take the FBI or the CIA. How about like universities? How about independent organizations that investigate this stuff? Would you take their word for it?
You're gonna bring up they're gonna say, the white supremacy. I don't understand this. Like, white people can't be proud of who they are. They get fired all the time.
You're really not answering my question, bro. Hold on. You're really going off my question. Hold on. Stop. You're going off my question. My main point. Hold on, listen, bro. I didn't say anything about, bro. You need to be quiet for a second. I didn't say anything. If you're telling me again, I'm gonna drop you. I didn't say anything about white people not being proud of who they are. No one said anything about that. What we're talking about is when it comes to the domestic abuse. I mean, I said domestic abuse. When it comes to domestic terrorism in this country, it's not only coming from law enforcement agencies that white supremacist groups are the most dangerous ones and are the most destructive and lethal ones. It's not just the FBI and CIA that's saying this. It's law enforcement themselves. The police are saying it, and also independent organizations that investigate hate crimes, that investigate domestic terrorism. They're also saying it. So they're all in agreement. all these groups who don't even trust each other.
Biased.
Listen, all these groups who don't even trust each other.
Biased.
All these groups who don't even trust each other are all saying it. Why would they be biased against?
It's so easy.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to actually interact with what I'm saying. All right, Jimmy. I need you to interact with what I'm saying. Listen to my question. Why will all these groups who do not trust each other all agree that white supremacist organizations are the biggest domestic terrorists and are the biggest domestic threat, not undocumented immigrants, white supremacist groups? Why would they all agree? And why would they be biased against white people when white people are the majority of the country? That makes sense to you?
Yeah, because most of them. Did you unmute?
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. I do appreciate you all being here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix that issue with everybody not hearing each other.
First of all, I just want to clock this. White people, what do they have to be proud of? They have never had to go through anything. Quite frankly, it would be one thing, and we're talking about ethnicity, like they're proud of being Irish, Italian, but simply just being proud of being white is in itself is a white supremacist dog whistle, because the history of that is you being is supremacy over other racial and ethnic groups. So no, that's not the same thing. And if they wanted to be proud of that, then they shouldn't have went around colonizing the entire fucking world. That ain't no one's fault but theirs.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, bad. Hold on, I'm just reading some of my.
And they also shouldn't have not used that as a dog whistle for racism.
Exactly. Oh man. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get out of here, man. Cause so there of course there are people who are all up in my YouTube comments who are complaining, and never call in. I never understood why that is. Y'all always complain. Y'all always call me stupid, but the number is right fucking there, and y'all never call in. Okay, cool. We have one more person.
We don't know why they don't have.
They don't have the cojones. All right, 856. How's it going, 856? Can I get your name, age, and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Kenneth Curry.
All right, Ken, did you disagree with what I had on the board?
I need to play this.
All right. If anybody else wants to call in, if you I'll be on for a few more minutes. If I'll be on for a few more minutes, if anybody else wants to call in, and we could definitely go ahead and talk about it. If you're over on TikTok, go ahead and keep liking the live. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here just within a few minutes, so I can go ahead and get my homework done.
Literally, I'm like, I just want to say, you know who I'm like. I can't stand them when they come up here, but I even have more respect for the people who will come up here and call us the N-word. At least they have the cojones to come up here.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're just in the comments complaining and doing all of that, like,
yeah, there's no problem. Exactly. All right, so 561, how's it going, 561? Can I get your name, age, and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Hey, my name is. You said my name and age?
Yes, please.
Yeah, my name is Zachary. I'm 29. And no, I don't disagree with anything. I just want to give you a good shout out, man. Thank you for what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. W Zachary in the chat, y'all. I appreciate you, Zach.
Yeah. Be safe, man.
You as well. Thank you. All right, I appreciate that. I appreciate anybody who's coming to shout out.
No shade. Zachary's cute. No shade.
Oh, bad.
Hey, Zachary. Look, stop playing.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and it's about to be 8:30. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. They are again, y'all, the same people who I saw in my chat last time are the I smell pussy. Remember that song about 50 Cent? I smell pussy.
Don't disrespect pussy like that. Pussy is strong to birth children.
You right. You right.
On who that was? That was on I'm trying to remember the name of it. The House Party movies. Full Force. Yeah.
Respect the pussy.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I should, because these people, y'all some cowards, man.
I'm
Y'all some cowards.
I'm like, war has. I'm like, listen, and I'm like, and they should, considering that all these dudes do is chase it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Since we always chase it, that must be the strongest substance in the world. Since we always chasing it, right? So, oh man.
Yeah, one thing before y'all go, something I've kind of just been realizing, right, is that all these black men and stuff like that have been talking about, like, oh yeah, man, like immigrants are real problem and stuff like that. I realize ain't none of them joining ICE. Like, I'm really like, ain't none of these anti-immigration people got any skin in the game. Matter of fact, the only people who actually got skin in the game are Hispanics. Like, they seem to be joining ICE. Like, even Trump know that. Like, hey, like, most of the people who are joining ICE are Hispanic. I mean, like, and he's like, I don't even know why. Because all they're going through.
I'm like, what's the Hispanic version of a coon? Because that's definitely the ones that are joining ICE.
I'm saying all these, like, they've been talking all this stuff all these years. The ADOS movement and stuff like that. Like, yeah, man, the real problem is the immigrants. Okay. So you would think there'll be like a significant, black population in ICE, but we hardly ever see them. When was the last time you see a dark skin in a ICE man?
Because most Black Americans are just not putting our neck out there. I will say that. And the thing is, I'm not against
the people who claim it's a problem. You would think. At least
the people who claim it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, where's the
most
work?
Black Americans, I don't feel like care about it, as long as they're not coming here disrespecting Black Americans and getting in the way of our initiatives that we are trying to get. Like there's a lot of people who come over here who get in the way of what Black people are trying to accomplish. Example: Brian Donalds.
Yeah.
I'm like that. Jamaican Panamanian man who gets in the way constantly around Black American reparations. Like, that is a problem. Like, that is a big problem. Because the most
people like him are always a problem. There's also there's a Haitian representative here in Florida where he put in if you're even a permanent resident, you shouldn't get a bank account, stuff like that. I mean, people like that just come in and exactly get in the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he's a Republican too. I mean, one thing I've noticed about a lot of these immigrants or these immigrant descended people who do all that, they're usually Republicans. You know what I mean? All the time. You know what I'm saying? And we know why. Because they give them that money.
First of all, what really got me was when Brian Donalds was talking about the Black family. Meanwhile, he has a white wife.
His white wife.
So that's first. So you have a white wife, first of all. Second of all, in the context of what you're talking about, bitch, that don't even apply to you because it applies to Black Americans. Because when they talk about the Black nuclear family, they are talking about people who would have been classified as Negro pre 1960, because that's what they're talking about, the rise, like the era of the quote Black. That's Black American family. In the context of what we're talking about. And so that doesn't even apply to you. Why are you talking about the nuclear Black American family and you're not Black American?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all the same playbook. It's all just, they become a Republican, they run up a bag. And how much you want to bet that Brian Donalds within the next, probably I would say 15 years or something like that, you're going to see him try to crawl right back to being within the sphere of Black empowerment and stuff like that. He's gonna do that.
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens doing the same thing. Yeah, exactly. She's doing the same thing.
And I'm like, what really gagged me is when I found out that, because I thought that Candace Owens was fully Black American. It turns out she has a Caribbean parent, and I said,
Yeah, she has a
And I'm not trying to throw shade, but it always seems to be people who do not come from fully Black American backgrounds. It always. And I'm not trying. But that is what I feel like majority of Black Americans have issue with. If people were just coming, but as people who respect Black Americans, who ain't bothering Black Americans, like people don't care. Like, eat your food, do what you have to do. Like we have our own stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I feel like those are the type of things that that's what really annoys Black Americans for the most part about people who come over here because they're anti.
Because at the end of the day, Black Americans already have to deal with their own coons. Like, why they got to deal with y'all too? Like, it's they already have to deal with their own. Like, and they got to deal with you.
Like, we just don't want to deal with that. Like, we do not want to deal with that.
Exactly. Like they already got
it's worse.
Look,
we already have people like 50 Cent and and Snoop Dogg. We have to deal with fucking people like Diddy.
Exactly.
And here you come from. No.
And
no.
They already got to deal with Stephen A. Smith. So they already got to deal with Stephen A. Smith. They already got to deal with all that. You know what I'm saying? And now they got to deal with you too. You know what I mean? Coming all the way from like Jamaica or Sierra Leone and some shit. Like they got to deal with you too. Like, come on, man.
And then when Black Americans talk about it, now we're called xenophobic for saying like, no, like you need to come over here with a piece of humble pie, bitch.
Yeah, man.
You coming over here on the backs of our struggles and our bloodshed. How dare you come and disrespect us?
Yeah, man, that's the thing. All right, let me go ahead and close the call line because it's 8:30. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the call line. It is 8:30 at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here.
Out with your rule, right?
I got homework. I got like a 7-page paper.
Oh.
Yeah. I got like a 7-page I got to do.
I'm wishing you lots of A's.
Yeah, definitely. I'm never gonna go ahead and get that A because I'm about halfway done with them. I'm like on page 4, but I have I got to go through like a dialogue tree and it's a lot. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Make sure y'all follow Trill. Make sure y'all follow Kay. I'm gonna be on tomorrow, same time, 6:30 to 9:30, or 6:30 to 8:30, as a matter of fact.
I'm gonna ask you about your paper if I see you tomorrow. I'm be like, how your paper?
Yeah, I already know. But guys, Trill, Kay, thank you so much for being up. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you guys real quick, but I do appreciate y'all and I love y'all. All right. So just for a last thing, y'all, I do appreciate y'all and I do love y'all, even though ones who were calling me an idiot or whatever in the comments. Go ahead and call me that that's fine, but your bitch ass never calling. All right. So, and if you want to know if I have a job, my job is banging your mom. That's my job. So I do appreciate y'all being here. I do love everyone, and I always say every man should be soft, that's secure, affectionate, wise, flexible, and trustworthy.